It was a job well done, but more work remains on other fronts if their success is to be translated into a long-term impact. Turning to the pressing issue of the humanitarian crisis. It was called a rescue mission in aid of the largest hostages in the world. But these civilians have now become the largest displaced population in a single area of Sri Lanka. With the war over, the world watches and waits to see how the government will handle the complex problem that they are confronted with. Our next story explores these issues further in the light of UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon's visit to Sri Lanka recently and also the Human Rights Council's special session on Sri Lanka.
Although it has been tireless in its efforts to provide for the IDPs, the complexity of the humanitarian situation in the north has caused the government to be on the receiving end of both commendation and criticism from various parties. It is in this context that UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon made an official visit to Sri Lanka on the 23rd of May 2009. During his 24 hours in the country, Ban Ki-moon visited the Manik Farm IDP camp and a hospital in Vaunia, and also met with the President and other dignitaries to discuss the situation. Due to limited access to camps and the tight security in the areas, there have been reports of atrocities and war crimes committed by both sides circulating in the media. To discuss the seriousness of these allegations, the Human Rights Council held a special session on the 27th of May 2009. The session ended on a positive note, with 29 out of the 47 countries voting in favor of the resolution adopted by the Council. At a cabinet press briefing in Colombo the next day, Minister of Mass Media and Information Anura Priyadarshana Yapa spoke glowingly of Sri Lanka's triumphant outcome.
So we are quite confident, so we have nothing to hide. That is why we are confident, and we always said that what we are doing is right. And we have never engaged in human rights violation against people or civilians especially. And we want to make sure that they are out of those, out of the free, area where they were held by the LTT as human shields. And we have done that. And we have the most, powerful army as well as most disciplined army. So we are proud of it. So we have 29 for us.
Out of 47.
Out of 47, 12 against and 6 absentees. So that means we have won handsomely. Like we have won elections in Sri Lanka. So we have seen that we have win even elections in abroad also.
However, this is not a case of winning elections. There are close to 300,000 displaced persons in camps in the north with urgent need for water, food and medical supplies, a need that remains just as urgent now despite the Human Rights Council's approval of the government's actions up to this point. Encouragingly, the government has committed to resettling the bulk of the displaced within 6 months, a mammoth task, but one that will instill both international and local communities with confidence that humanitarian efforts will continue in earnest until every last person is leading a life that at least resembles normalcy after the trauma they have suffered.
The government has its hands full in terms of the IDPs, but hopefully it will use its resources wisely and garner support from the international community to do what is in the best interest of the displaced. We'll be going in for a break now, but when we come back, we'll take a look at some diverse opinions on Sri Lanka's immediate and long-term future.